I was 7 months pregnant, carrying our first child, when I found the text messages. My sister, my own blood, the one person I trusted with everything, was sleeping with my husband. While I was glowing with life inside me, they were destroying everything I believed in. Every family dinner, every "I love you, sis," every time she held my hand and told me I'd be an amazing mother, she was lying to my face. The nursery was ready. The name was picked. I had dreamed of my sister being the godmother, but that dream, it died the moment I saw her name on his phone at 2 a.m. They didn't just break my heart, they shattered my soul. They took my trust, my family, my future, and set it on fire. But here's what they didn't take: my strength. Let me take you back to where it all started, because betrayal this deep doesn't happen overnight. It's built on a foundation of lies, and I need you to understand how blind I was. My sister Emma was my best friend. We grew up sharing everything: secrets, dreams, clothes, heartbreaks. When mom died when we were teenagers, we only had each other. Dad was never really there, so Emma became my everything, my person, my rock. When I met Jake 5 years ago, I was so excited to introduce them. I remember that day so clearly. We met at this little coffee shop downtown, and I watched them shake hands, watched them smile at each other. I thought, this is perfect. The two people I love most in the world are going to get along, and they did. They got along beautifully, too beautifully. Jake and I got married 2 years later. Emma was my maid of honor. She stood next to me in that lavender dress we picked out together, crying tears of joy as I said my vows. She hugged me so tight after the ceremony and whispered, "You deserve all the happiness in the world." I believed her. God, I believed every single word. The first 3 years of our marriage were everything I dreamed of. Jake was attentive, loving, present. We bought our first home, a little 2-bedroom house with a backyard where we talked about our future kids playing. Emma was always around. She'd come over for Sunday dinners. She'd help me paint the guest room. She'd text me funny memes during work hours. Jake would joke that she was basically our third roommate. I loved it. I loved having my sister so close, so involved in our lives. When we struggled to conceive for a year, Emma was the one holding my hand through every negative pregnancy test. She was there when I cried in the bathroom, telling me it would happen when it was meant to happen. And then it finally did. That positive test, those 2 pink lines that changed everything. I called Emma before I even told Jake. She screamed with joy on the phone. She came over that night with sparkling cider and non-alcoholic champagne. We celebrated together, the 3 of us, talking about how this baby was going to be so loved, so surrounded by family. Emma promised she'd be there for everything. Every doctor's appointment I wanted company for, every craving run at midnight, every moment of fear or joy. And she was, or at least I thought she was. The first trimester was rough. Morning sickness hit me like a truck. I couldn't keep anything down. I lost weight instead of gaining it. My doctor was concerned. Jake had to travel for work, and I hated being alone, so Emma practically moved in. She'd make me ginger tea. She'd rub my back when I was hunched over the toilet. She'd binge watch shows with me when I was too exhausted to move. She took photos of my tiny bump, telling me I was glowing, even when I felt like death. Looking back now, I see the moments I missed. The way she'd linger when Jake came home. The way she'd touch his arm when she laughed at his jokes. The way she'd volunteer to stay and help with dinner so Jake wouldn't have to cook alone while I rested. I saw it as generosity, as love, as family taking care of family. I was so stupid, so blind, so trusting. By the second trimester, I felt better. The nausea faded. My energy came back. I started glowing for real. We found out we were having a girl. We painted the nursery a soft pink. We picked the name Lily Rose after both our grandmothers. Emma helped with all of it. She was there when we assembled the crib. She bought the first stuffed animal, a white bunny with pink ears. She talked to my belly, telling Lily how much her aunt loved her already. Jake seemed more distant, but I blamed it on work stress. He'd taken on extra projects to save money for the baby. He'd come home late, exhausted, barely able to keep his eyes open. I'd already be in bed, too tired from growing a human to wait up. Emma would sometimes still be there when he got home. She'd say she lost track of time. She'd hug us both goodbye and drive home to her apartment across town. Except she wasn't always going home, was she? The third trimester hit, and I was huge. Beautiful, yes, but uncomfortable. My back ached constantly, my feet swelled. I couldn't sleep. Simple tasks became mountains to climb. Jake's late nights increased. Emma's visits became more sporadic. She'd cancel plans last minute, saying she had work stuff or wasn't feeling well. I missed her, but I understood. Everyone has their own life. I never imagined their lives had become tangled together in the most disgusting way possible. It was a Tuesday night, February 14th, Valentine's Day. The irony isn't lost on me. Jake had promised to be home early. We were going to have a quiet dinner at home since I was too pregnant to want to go out. He was supposed to pick up takeout from my favorite Italian place. By 9 p.m., he still wasn't home. The food was cold. I'd called 3 times, no answer. I was worried something had happened, that he'd gotten in an accident, that something was terribly wrong. He finally walked in at 10:30, and I could smell perfume on him. Not my perfume, something floral and sweet, something familiar. He apologized, said he got held up at work, that his phone died. He kissed my forehead, but his lips felt cold, distant, like he was kissing a stranger. I wanted to believe him. I needed to believe him. I was 7 months pregnant with his daughter. We were supposed to be a team. That night, I couldn't sleep. Something felt wrong, deep in my gut. At 2 a.m., Jake was snoring next to me, his phone charging on the nightstand. I'd never been the type to snoop. I trusted him completely. But that perfume, that distance, that feeling in my chest that something was breaking. I picked up his phone. His password was our anniversary. How twisted is that? I opened his messages, and there it was. A text thread with Emma. Hundreds of messages. Months worth. Missing you already. Can't wait to see you tomorrow. Tonight was incredible. I hate lying to her, but I can't stop. Photos, videos, things I can't unsee. Things that are burned into my brain forever. My sister, my husband, together. I scrolled back, reading everything. Each message a knife twisting deeper. It had been going on for 4 months, since December, since I was barely showing, since I was vulnerable and sick and needed them most. They'd been together while I was at doctor's appointments, while I was sleeping in the next room, while I was dreaming about our family's future. There were messages about me, Jake complaining about how I'd let myself go, how I was always tired, how he needed something exciting, Emma agreeing, saying she understood, that she could give him what I couldn't. I sat there in the dark, 7 months pregnant, reading about how the 2 people I loved most in the world thought I was boring, pathetic, no longer desirable. My hands were shaking so hard I almost dropped the phone. My daughter was kicking inside me, completely unaware that her world was falling apart before she even entered it. I didn't sleep for the rest of that night. I sat in the dark, my mind racing, my heart shattered into pieces so small I didn't know if they could ever be put back together. When Jake woke up at 6 a.m., I was sitting in the chair by the window, his phone in my hand. He saw my face and knew immediately. The color drained from him. He opened his mouth, but I held up my hand. Don't you dare try to explain this away. He started crying, actual tears, telling me it was a mistake, that it meant nothing, that he loved me, that he was scared about becoming a father and made horrible choices. I listened to every pathetic excuse, every lie wrapped in a confession. He blamed stress, he blamed fear, he blamed me for changing, for being focused on the pregnancy, for not being available to him. He had the audacity to make himself the victim while I sat there, 7 months pregnant, having just discovered his affair with my sister. I asked him one question: how many times? He couldn't even answer. Too many to count. Too many to remember. Too many times he'd betrayed me while I trusted him completely. I told him to leave, to get out of our house. He tried to argue, tried to say we needed to talk, to work through this for the baby's sake. For the baby's sake? He hadn't thought about our baby when he was sleeping with my sister. He finally left, and then I had to make the call I never imagined making. I called Emma. She answered cheerfully. "Hey sis, what's up?" My voice was dead calm. I know, silence. Long, heavy silence. Then, know what? Don't insult me by playing dumb. I read every message. I saw every photo. I know everything. She started crying immediately, sobbing, saying she was sorry, that it just happened, that she never meant to hurt me. But she did hurt me. For 4 months, she hurt me every single day while smiling to my face and rubbing my pregnant belly. I asked her why. Why would she do this to me? Why would she destroy everything? Her answer broke me even more. She said she'd always been jealous of me, that I'd always had it easier, been prettier, more successful, found love first, that when she met Jake, she felt something and she couldn't help herself. She couldn't help herself. As if betrayal is just something that happens, like catching a cold. She'd stolen my husband because she was jealous, because she wanted what I had, because she thought she deserved it more. I told her I never wanted to see her again, that she was dead to me, that she'd lost the only family she had left. She begged, she pleaded, she said we could work through this, that family was more important than any man. But she'd made her choice when she got into bed with my husband. She'd chosen him over me, over our bond, over everything we'd built since childhood. I hung up, and I've never spoken to her since. The next 2 months were the darkest of my life. I was supposed to be glowing, preparing for my daughter's arrival, feeling excited and hopeful. Instead, I was broken, devastated, alone. Jake tried calling constantly. Emma sent dozens of messages, emails, letters. I blocked them both. I couldn't handle their excuses, their apologies, their attempts to make themselves feel better. My doctor was worried about me. My blood pressure was up. I wasn't sleeping. I'd lost weight again. The stress was affecting the baby, but I had no one. My parents were gone. My sister had betrayed me. My husband had destroyed our family. I had friends, but explaining this level of betrayal felt impossible. I moved through those days like a ghost. I'd sit in the nursery I'd lovingly prepared and cry until I had no tears left. Every pink onesie, every stuffed animal, every little sock reminded me that my daughter was coming into a broken world. I thought about the future I'd imagined. Family holidays with Emma's kids and mine. Sunday dinners with everyone together. My daughter growing up with her aunt as a constant presence. All of it was gone, burned to ash by their selfishness. Jake filed for divorce, which was somehow both a relief and another wound. He wanted joint custody, wanted to be in Lily's life. Part of me wanted to say no, to keep him away, to punish him forever. But I couldn't do that to my daughter. She deserved a father, even if he was a terrible husband. The divorce proceedings were brutal. Lawyers, paperwork, dividing up our life while I was about to give birth. Emma tried to reach out through mutual friends. She wanted to explain, to talk, to somehow make me understand. But there was nothing to understand. She'd made her choice. She'd chosen momentary pleasure over a lifetime of sisterhood. She'd chosen a man who wasn't even hers over the person who'd been by her side since birth. Some betrayals can't be forgiven. Some wounds can't heal. I went to my prenatal appointments alone. I assembled the last pieces of furniture alone. I packed my hospital bag alone. The hardest part was facing the reality that my daughter would never know the family I dreamed of. She wouldn't have her aunt. She wouldn't have an intact home. She wouldn't have parents who loved each other. But she would have me. Broken, shattered, barely holding together. But she would have me. I went into labor 3 weeks before my due date. Early mornings, sharp pains that took my breath away. I drove myself to the hospital because there was no one to call. Labor was long, painful, and terrifying. I'd taken the classes, read the books, prepared as much as I could, but nothing prepares you for bringing life into the world while your own life is falling apart. 18 hours of labor, 18 hours of pain, of pushing, of crying, both from the physical agony and the emotional devastation. Jake showed up. Someone must have told him. He tried to come into the delivery room, but I screamed at him to leave. The nurses had to escort him out. This was my moment, and he'd already stolen enough from me. At 3:47 a.m. on April 2nd, Lily Rose entered the world. 6 pounds, 4 ounces. Perfect tiny fingers, soft, dark hair, eyes that looked right into my soul. And in that moment, when they placed her on my chest, something shifted. The pain was still there. The betrayal still burned. But she was here. She was real. She was mine. I looked at her perfect face and made a promise. I promised her that even though her family was broken, she would never feel that brokenness. I promised her that she would be loved so fiercely, so completely, that the absence of others wouldn't matter. I promised her that I would be enough. The nurses took photos, helped me clean up, taught me how to feed her. Other new moms had partners, had family, had people flooding in with flowers and balloons. I had Lily, and she was everything. Jake came by later, after I'd moved to recovery. I let him meet his daughter because she deserved to know her father. father, even if I could barely look at him. He cried when he held her, said she was beautiful, said he was sorry, said he wanted to be a good father, even though he'd been a terrible husband. I told him we'd figure out custody through lawyers, that I'd never keep Lily from him, but that he and I were done forever. Emma sent a massive flower arrangement with a card begging to meet her niece. I had the nurses throw it away. She'd given up the right to be Lily's aunt when she betrayed me. Some friends came to visit, people from work, neighbors who'd heard the news. They asked about Jake, about why he wasn't there more, about where Emma was. I gave simple answers. We were separating. Emma and I weren't speaking. I kept the ugly details private because airing them wouldn't change anything. Those first days in the hospital were strange, beautiful, and devastating at the same time. I'd look at Lily and feel overwhelming love. Then I'd remember what had been stolen from us and feel crushing sadness. But she needed me. She needed me to be strong, to be present, to be her mother above all else. So that's what I became. It's been 8 months since that Valentine's Day discovery. 8 months since my world imploded. 8 months of rebuilding from absolute rubble. The divorce is finalized. Jake has Lily every other weekend. It kills me to hand her over, but I keep my promise. She giggles when she sees him, and I have to accept that she loves him even though he destroyed us. I haven't spoken to Emma. She's tried everything, showing up at my house, sending gifts for Lily, reaching out through every mutual connection we have, but I have nothing to say to her. The sister I loved died the day I found those messages. This person who keeps trying to contact me is a stranger who wears her face. People tell me I should forgive, that holding on to anger will only hurt me, that family is family, but they don't understand. They can't understand unless they've experienced this specific betrayal. The person who's supposed to protect you, who's supposed to have your back against the entire world, becoming the knife in it instead. I've started therapy. I'm working through the trauma, the trust issues, the fear that everyone will eventually betray me. It's slow, painful work, but I'm doing it for Lily. She deserves a mother who's healing, not just surviving. Some days are harder than others. I'll see sisters shopping together and feel that pang of loss. I'll watch Lily play and wonder what kind of aunt Emma would have been if she'd made different choices. But then I remember that people show you who they really are. Emma showed me. Jake showed me. And I'm grateful I found out before wasting more years on them. I've built a new life. A small life, but it's mine. It's honest. It's real. Lily is thriving. She's crawling now, pulling herself up on furniture, saying mama in that sweet baby voice that makes everything worth it. She'll grow up knowing her father, but she'll grow up knowing the truth too. When she's old enough to understand, I'll tell her what happened, not to poison her against anyone, but because she deserves honesty. To anyone watching this who's been betrayed by the people they trusted most, I see you. Your pain is real. Your anger is valid. Your heartbreak is justified. You don't have to forgive. You don't have to reconcile. You don't have to light yourself on fire to keep others warm. You just have to survive. You just have to get up each day and choose yourself. Choose your healing. Choose your peace. They didn't just break my heart. They shattered my soul. They took my trust, my family, my future, and set it on fire. But here's what they didn't take: my strength, my dignity, my ability to love my daughter with everything I have. I walked away. I built a new life. And my baby saved me. This is my truth. This is my story. And I'm finally free. If you've made it this far, thank you for listening. Thank you for witnessing my pain and my healing. We're all going to be okay. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but someday. Hold on to that.